Hey guys, Romie here. So please like, comment, subscribe. This is my review for Underground Season 2, Episode 4. What is that, Nok Aaut? Yeah. The episode, it starts off with, we see Bokeem again. And now he's talking to someone else, and he's reading him this letter. Essentially, I believe his master's being informed that it should be in his best interest to send his slaves down south, or, remove them for a certain period of time because someone's trying to go and steal the slaves. Now, I think it was steal the slaves in the sense of freeing them, but, what have you. And this other man, he wants to learn how to read. Bokeem's telling him, you don't want to know how to read because now it gives voices to all these stories and all these situations that I knew were technically happening, but never really thought about. Now, we're in London, mind you. In London, there's this beautiful woman who, she's looking at this, this art gallery, and she sees the statue, and then she's like, this artist is amazing. And of course, Cato is right next to her. He's the actual artist. That's what we find out, and this becomes his love interest. And it's weird to see Cato happy and in a relationship. You know who isn't happy right now? Our girl. Lord Jesus. Our girl is not happy right now. She's with Georgia, and the thing with that is she's still reeling over the fact that her husband was killed because Jean's isn't there anymore. So she's trying to pick up the pieces. The thing is, the sewing circle, what's going on with them is there's a big divide. There's a divide between peaceful protest and trying to make their voices be heard and taking action. And we see this new guy. This guy that kind of reminds us of Jean because he definitely has this, I'm going to go and do whatever it takes to free these slaves. Slavery is wrong. And we're like, oh wow, this guy seems really passionate about freeing the slaves. And we're thinking to ourselves, that's great. Trust me, it really is great. But I want to know why. Because you look at it and you think, what's his purpose for wanting to free them? What's his purpose for wanting to do right? Even though that shouldn't be the case, even though when you really think about it, it is messed up that we're trying to figure out why is it that he wants to do that when it's just the right thing to do. And Elizabeth, she's just over it. She's over it because she's trying to figure out what side is she on. Georgia's on the side of peace. We're going to peacefully protest. Like I said, this new guy, he's all about that action needs to be taken. These guys are doing physical harm. We need to do some type of physical harm. Now, mind you, once everyone goes and leaves, they hear these knocks. Elizabeth's going to be going with the guy so that he doesn't go and get into any trouble. I'm thinking, Elizabeth's on the cusp. I don't know if you want to invite her. We hear this knocking, though. And once we hear the knocking and who we see it's there, it's Rosalie. Rosalie was in the tunnels. So she made it back, so she's safe. Well, safe enough at least. Aside from that, we have Noah, who he wakes up in this nice bed. He has this nice clothing. He's still trying to figure out what's going on here. How did Cato get all of this? He's looking at this like, wait a minute, these white people, they're Cato's servants? They're listening to him implicitly? Cato's like, yes, I know. From rags to riches. Isn't that amazing? From slavery, from bondage to freedom. But we see that Cato, I believe at this point he's in Paris, because originally he was in London. He's in Paris. He's having fun. He's dancing, having a good time with his girl. And he gets into a fight. He's at this club, he's at this club. It's filled with essentially white people. There's probably some black people there too, but he's having a great time. And then this guy, he says something disrespectful to Cato's girl. So Cato goes, hits the guy with the bottle, and so then of course they run out of there. But she's upset and she's irritated because she's trying to figure out why you keep doing these things. You have this huge chip on your shoulder. And Cato says, if you knew the things that I did in my past, you wouldn't want to be with me. She says, I don't care. At the end of the day, I like you for you, so just tell me what's going on, because this person, the fact that you feel like you have to prove yourself, and it comes off that way. You have to be around these white people. You have to go and spend all your money and impress them or show that you belong when you don't belong. You don't belong. And I'm not saying that to disrespect you. I'm saying that to wake you up, to enlighten you, like, what's going on, what's good. So now we're, Rosalie, she's getting all the help that she needs. The doctor comes in, he's like, of course, anything for the cause. Because, like I said, Rosalie, she was borderline on her deathbed. They gave her some medicine. They don't know how it's going to affect the baby. They just know that it's essentially probably going to be like some type of opiate. They're going to have to wean her off of it. But for right now, she's resting. Elizabeth is just happy to have her, and at least for now, the baby's safe. But they have other things to do. She's irritated because she's like, no, she's hurt. It's like, this woman had to do all of this, and she's with child. It's not right. Why does she have to fight? And it's like, Georgia had to let her know she's fighting for a cause. She's fighting for something bigger than her, and because she's fighting for something bigger than her, you need to do the same. That's not what she said, but that's what I took it as when she was trying to let it be known. She's not fighting just to fight. She's fighting with a purpose. In Philadelphia, we have Cato. He goes, he brings, of course, Noah along. Noah has this look of, I'm in this fancy restaurant. I got me this knife that I snatched. Sharpen it up under the table, ready to go. Cato says, give me the knife. What? Give me the knife that's under the table that you thought you were going to go and stab me with. Give it to me. Because look, essentially almost everyone in the restaurant was on Cato's payroll. I'm saying, dang, Cato had that much money that he had in that briefcase? Dang. But again, he spun that, became a success, and made even more. So it makes sense. I don't know why, throughout this episode, I was like, I almost like Cato. He's almost humanized to me. And that irks me because I remember the foolishness that he did. But Cato's just like, look, Noah, you have a couple options. You can either go and get your butt beat, which I would thoroughly enjoy, or you could go and relax. And he gives Noah the ring back. Says, you have something you're supposed to be fighting for. You just have someone you're supposed to be living for. And you're being reckless. See, you can't just go and save everyone. You have to have priorities. You can't just move on emotion. You have to move on strategy. And I feel like Cato was really trying to tell Noah, chill out. You need to chill out. You need to relax. Because you're not going to make it far in life if you just go purely on instinct and you're always on go. And I accepted that. Interesting, though, how Noah's just like, well, you're a traitor yourself. But you left me. I'm thinking, yeah, he did leave you. He didn't leave you unarmed. He wanted you to have a fighting chance, but they were all there. You know, Moses, Rosalie, all of them, they had a purpose. So, he wasn't, even though Noah didn't like you, he didn't leave you just to leave you. Just to be like, ha ha ha, joke's on you. No. We see another flashback with Cato and his girl. And his girl, who becomes his fiance, mind you, his girl's trying to be like, look, here's this fight club. And she goes to introduce him to this fight club. And she volunteers him to go. He fights. She's like, you need to fight to win. And he wins. And so now he likes it. But she's figuring, you know what? I need to get you out of your head. You've kind of told me about your life. And so now, because the thing was, she's, what is it? A British Indian. So she said, trust me, I know a lot about being seen as the minority, being disrespected, less than, people, treating me a certain way. So I get it. And I love the fact that she, brought the point is, you and your struggle, she was essentially saying your people and your struggle isn't exclusive to your geographic area. Struggle, pain, adversity is universal. It comes in many forms. It can be just as bad in other places with different faces. Now, oh, I like that. Now, he goes from that to Cato, like I said, he's in the fight club. He's liking it because it gets out his aggression, because he is angry, and he's angry for a reason. He's definitely angry for a reason. As I said, the sewing circle, this is when they're trying to figure out the plan, what they're going to do. There's going to be like a poetry slam, open mic. Not open mic, yeah, but essentially like an open mic where you can go and voice your opinions and let yourself be heard. And they're thinking, okay, we're going to go and focus on that instead. But, as I said, the new guy is going to work with Elizabeth. Because Elizabeth, like I said, I feel like she sees the radical version of John in him. Which can be dangerous, because that could get her killed. I mean, look at what happened to her husband. Cato is still having this dang conversation with Noah in this restaurant, and I feel like it's just going nowhere. We get it. We get it. Cato, you're in charge. You're the man. You did what you needed to do to get out. Congratulations. Congratulations. But Noah, he stabs the, what do you call it? He stabs the table because he decides, you know what? I am sick and tired of being, oh, so cute, my nephew. Sick and tired of this mess. We can go. We can go. I'm not going to go and make too many waves. Now, the man who was a part of the sewing circle that said, yeah, have Elizabeth go and come with me. He's going and he's destroying this shop. And the important thing about that is, this is his version of justice. Now he goes and he tells Elizabeth how there was this man who I saw every day. He worked so hard and he was in the fields. He was so nice, always had a smile on his face. One day they beat him up so bad, essentially he was dead. Elizabeth's like, oh my gosh, so that's why you care about this cause. He said, no, that's a lie. That's a lie. Why do I need some type of special reasoning to decipher the fact that slavery is wrong, oppressing people is wrong, I want to do something about it? I said, dude, what's your name? Because you want people. I said, these are facts. Why do we need a reason to do right? That's the thing that doesn't make sense. There's so many reasons why, oh, you can justify someone did wrong. But there always seems to be like, oh, you're doing the right thing? Interesting. Especially when you have other options. It doesn't compute. Now, Cato's not done with Noah, though. Cato decides, I need for you to make a choice. Cato figures, you know what? Let's see what you really believe in. Because Noah was talking about how, oh, Cato, you're still the traitor. I don't understand how, at the end of the day, I know I'm skipping ahead, but how is it that you have all this money, but you didn't get your family out of slavery, you know, your wife and your daughter? I don't get what you really care about, like what's wrong with you? And on one side, I was thinking, yeah, you're kind of right, but the thing is, people don't understand, once you're sold off and off far and away, it's really hard to make the connections and say, okay, they're with this person, then they're with this person, then they went this person, they went this person. Because he's sold like a piece of property. Like that. So it's really hard, and maybe Cato is doing this. This might be part of his plan, and Noah is just speaking out of anger. But Cato says, I got something for you. He gives Noah an ultimatum. You can either give yourself up and put yourself back in slavery, or you can have all of these slaves go and go back and continue being slaves. If you put yourself back in slavery, I'll free them. If you don't, they'll go back. I said, this is some mess. Noah, after really thinking about it, you could tell it hurt his heart. He was like, no, no. And, you know, they took the slaves away. I said, oh, Lord Jesus, I don't blame you, Noah. I don't blame you. You're on a mission. You have a bigger goal. Of course, you're selfish. Let's be real. Let's just be real. We know that, and it doesn't mean in this case this is bad, because this is tough. Can you possibly imagine being a... I can't. I cannot. Not in the least. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Anyway, like I said, there's a flashback again of when Cato was in this fight club, and he had a decision to make. Because he was doing well, then he got knocked down, then this guy came and hit him with a cheap shot, because he was doing so well. Then he had this look in his eye. That same look of when he hit that guy over the head with the bottle. What ended up happening is, he purposely lost the match. He got back up and hit the guy. Of course, everyone's like, yeah, yeah. And I feel like his girlfriend was saying, his fiance was saying, you need to go and stand up for yourself. You need to go and fight for everyone who was oppressed, everyone for back home, all of your troubles and tribulations. But when you look up and you see all of these white people, and you're this black man that just came from slavery, and they're just like, yeah, hello, hello, hello. You feel like an animal. You feel like an animal. So why would I continue? Even if her intentions were good, I felt like in that moment, in his mind at least, it kind of came off like, this is a distraction. You may be trying to help me, but on the other hand, this also kind of feels like I'm being used, or feels like I'm being set up. So I'm sure there was multiple emotions going on in his head, but now it's time for, the public speeches, and guess what? Georgia, she goes and she volunteers. They didn't think she was going to go and do something like that because she said, no, that's not my thing. She goes up there and she can't say anything. Nothing comes out, so she storms off, and of course they're laughing because some of the people, they're not too kind of black people, so this black woman going storming off, because the sea of people versus they enjoyed that a little bit too much. But her speech was still up there. So Elizabeth went up there and she said the speech. And the black people were like, yes, yes. And then some of the white people were like, oh, okay, cool, yeah. And then there was other ones, especially the older ones, that were white people that were like, this is bull. But then she got angry. And she said, but talk isn't enough. Peace isn't enough. Action. How is it that we are in a country that's supposed to be united and supposed to be equal rights when there's a whole group of people that are persecuted, used, and abused, don't have any rights, seen as less than a man, 3/5 of the man? What? And she went on and on. And they did not like that. So someone took either a brick, a bottle, something, threw it, hit it at her head. And then of course a fight ensued because her, her pseudo John, if you will, he was there, the guy that was ready to fight. He went and he started fighting the guy. I said, okay, alright. Now the fight got bigger and bigger. When she came to, again, she heard that noise of, I'm about to lose my mind. That high pitch, like mosquito sound. And she was about to go and take up something and throw it and fight. But of course Georgia, her conscience, stopped her and said, no, we're not doing that. We're not playing those type of games. No. So she got her out of there. And I'm so glad. Georgia is the MVP in Elizabeth's life right now. Like, what would Elizabeth do without Georgia? Now, we're back at Cato's plantation. Jesus, that sounds weird. And now it's time for a fight between him and Noah. Because it's like, Noah's upset, Noah's hurt. So now it's time for action. Now it's time for a fight. They're fighting. Noah's winning. Cato's winning. Noah ends up winning. Cato's on the floor. He makes a conscious decision not to not fight back on the level that he could. And that to me said that he's trying to teach Noah a lesson. He really is. He doesn't like Noah, but he respects him enough because it's like we've been through the struggle together. So at the end of the day, there's more to me than meets the eye. Noah was talking about you need to get your family out of slavery. Oh, you're talking about betrayal, but you're crazy. You're around all these white people. You're trying to go and prove something. Noah was kind of going in. And I'm glad that Cato said, well, guess what? You're super selfish. Everything has always been about you. Regardless of what you said, it's still always circled back to you. And the fact that you always try to place things on others and say that we're the only ones with the issues is ridiculous. When you're the one, you are the one that has the biggest issue with owning your mess. And so, after the fight was over, of course, Cato had his men go and take Noah away. It's weird because I think Cato actually went, I don't think a lot of people caught this, but I think Cato actually went and freed those slaves anyway, if I'm not mistaken. This was either one or two things happened. This was a flashback regarding him kind of trying to help out with the Macon 7 in the future, or he actually freed those slaves. I didn't count how many there were, but he's like, so all 7? Okay, they're going to be free? They're going to be going to Canada? Okay, cool. I said, wait a minute now. What's going on here? Is he the plantation owner that just hires all white people and buys slaves and then frees them? Is Cato humanized now? Is this really happening? Now, mind you, Cato, he actually goes and leaves his fiance, and she's upset. She's like, I loved you, I supported you, and you're leaving me with this condo. I am a good person, I deserve more. I thought you wanted more out of your life. And he's like, you know what, I do. I do deserve better, I do deserve more. I'm thinking, is she saying she's cool, but he feels like he's being used? Or was that more so he needs to go back and do what he needs to do in the States because there's still unfinished business there that needs to be attended to? That could have been taken in a multitude of ways. Now, like I said, Noah was taken away, and I do think that Cato freed the slaves anyway, but he was trying to teach Noah a lesson, and so that's why he did that. Noah is now meeting the guy that, that Rosalie met, and when she was like, Noah, I have to go back, I need to go and do more. And this guy is saying, you know what, I'll get your credentials, you'll be freed. Noah, and this is when Noah, it clicks in him, because the guy's saying, oh, you have such a great story. He said, you're such a great person. No, I'm not a good person. I lied, stealed, cheated for me. It was always for me. Regardless of what the situation was, it was still always for me. So at the end of the day, I need to do better. There's people that I need to stay here for. There's people here that I need to protect. And I do feel like Cato is really on his side and not all of their side. He just has his own nice, nasty way of doing things. And he really is trying to teach them a lesson. So, that's it. Underground was great as always. Please like, comment, subscribe. Come back next week. Of course, let me know what you think. Clear up any misnomers that I might have